This is a manhunt. Those were Cardinal Pell's words when he was accused of having committed sexual abuse against minors, an accusation that led him to jail after being convicted in first and second instance, and unfounded accusation, an accusation of something of which he was manifestly innocent. It was the Supreme Court of Australia which was responsible for undoing the accusation and giving him back his freedom. But by then he had already spent 404 days in prison, in solitary confinement, and most of that time without even being able to celebrate the Holy Mass. But Pell was guilty, in quotation marks, of two crimes for some people. Pell is conservative and had tried on behalf of the Pope to clean up the Vatican finances. Those were the reasons for which the hunt against him was organized. It was yet to be discovered who paid for the accusations, how much money was sent, and to whom it was sent. I have been thinking these days about this phrase of Cardinal Pell about what happened to him when I have seen what is being organized against another cardinal, in this case the Cardinal of Cologne in Germany, Cardinal Wolke. Cardinal Wolke was accused of permissiveness with pedophile priests, an accusation that came from a report prepared by a team of lawyers in the Diocese of Munich. A team of lawyers that made a report so crude and crass that it was manifestly biased. What Wolke did was to commission another report, and above all, he put the results in the hands of the police. In that report, he was totally exonerated. Instead, the one who was implicated was the one who had been Vicar General of the Diocese of Cologne at the time of the event, and current Bishop of Hamburg, Bishop Hess. But if Wolke was innocent of the accusations of covering up for pedophile priests, Wolke is guilty of the same crimes, in quotation marks, that Cardinal Pell had committed. Because he is conservative, a great crime. And Wolke is also one of the few bishops who are confronting the rest of the episcopate in this schismatic synod that the German Church is carrying out and which has the Holy Father so worried. It's necessary to put an end to him, and that is why they have organized this hunt. Surprisingly for some, and logically for others, Wolke, who comes out clean in the report delivered to the police, and whose the only reproach that can be made to him is that he has not known how to manage the communication of what happened, Wolke is punished to be a few months of retirement outside the diocese, while Hess, who in fact is implicated and who also presents his resignation is not accepted and no punishment is imposed on him. Well, that time of retirement that Wolke was given is about to be over, and that is why the harassment against him to resign has been intensely reactivated. His enemies within the German Bishops' Conference and his enemies outside are raising their voices demanding his resignation. Among these voices that asks him to resign, there is someone as prestigious, as important as Cardinal Hollerich. Cardinal Hollerich is the Archbishop of Luxembourg. He is a Jesuit, but he is also the president of the European Episcopal Conferences, and he is the rapporteur of the next synod, the Synod of Synodality. So Hollerich has said that Wolke should resign because his people don't want him. His diocese doesn't want him. This has been the argument. You have to leave because your people don't want you. I don't believe that Hollerich has gone person by person, house by house, to ask the Catholics of Cologne. Possibly he was based to make such harsh statement on a study that every year the church in Germany publishes on the situation of the church. That is to say, on those who leave, the apostates. In this study, which has just been published, it is said that the Diocese of Cologne is the one that has increased more in percentage of apostates. And that is possibly the argument that Hollerich has to say that Woki has to go. I don't know how it has not occurred to His Eminence to think that this could be something that could be organized. How easy it is to organize a massive apostasy among the liberals, which of course exist in the Diocese of Cologne, to achieve that result. It is enough to agree, and it is very easy to do so, to leave and get the percentage to increase. It seems to me a very probable thing. Surprisingly for some people and logically for others, Hollerich has not said a word about the need for the resignation of Batzing, who is the president of the German Bishops' Conference, or of Cardinal Marx, Cardinal Archbishop of Munich, who are indeed directly implicated in cases of protection or cover-up of pedophile priests. They are not asked to resign, and note that the Diocese of Munich is the one that has had more apostasy casualties in absolute numbers, not in percentage, which has been Cologne, but in absolute numbers where more apostates have occurred has been in Munich, but Marx is not asked to resign, surprisingly for some, logically for others. But perhaps this can be understood a little more if one take into account the statements that Cardinal Hollerich has made this week in favor of the married priesthood, the female deaconate, which everyone knows is the principle of the female priesthood, and the acceptance of homosexual acts as morally good acts. Three of the main points defended by the German Synod. Well, all this, I repeat, seems to me nothing more than a hunt against a man who bothers them, who is also the Archbishop of one of the main dioceses of Germany, Cardinal Woki. A hunt that doesn't have him as a major piece. The major piece is Benedict XVI. We have already talked about that. I will talk again when Benedict XVI makes public his allegations against his accusers. Accusers that, curiously, are in the same team of lawyers who pointed out Cardinal Woki as guilty. Accusers, the team of lawyers who are paid by the Diocese of Munich. Can anyone be surprised that this is the result? Let us pray. See you next week, God willing.